Like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
Pallbearers nearly dropped journalist Shireen Abu Akleh's coffin as Israeli police hit mourners. Israeli police officers have charged at Palestinian mourners carrying the coffin of Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh, amid ongoing historical tensions between the two groups and anger and grief over the broadcaster's death. Abu Akleh, who had covered Palestinian affairs and the Middle East for more than 2 decades, was shot while reporting on an Israeli raid in the occupied West Bank on Wednesday. Palestinian authorities have described Abu Akleh's killing as an assassination by Israeli forces. Israel's government initially suggested Palestinian fire might have been to blame, but officials have also said they could not rule out it was Israeli gunfire that killed her. Packed around Abu Akleh's coffin on Friday, dozens of Palestinians, some waving Palestinian flags and chanting, "With our soul and blood we will redeem you Shireen," began walking toward the gates of St. Joseph's Hospital. Israeli police officers, in an apparent bid to stop them proceeding by foot rather than taking the coffin by car, burst through the courtyard gates and charged at the crowd, some beating pallbearers with batons and kicking them. At one point the group carrying her coffin backed up against a wall and almost dropped the coffin, recovering it just before one end hit the ground as stun grenades detonated. The violent scenes, which lasted only minutes, added to Palestinian outrage over Abu Akleh's killing, which has threatened to fuel violence that has surged since March. Read more. Israeli police said a group of Palestinians outside the hospital, who they described as rioters, had begun throwing stones at officers. The policemen were forced to act, they added. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters the Biden administration found the images disturbing, and U.S. officials would remain in close contact with Israeli and Palestinian authorities in the aftermath of Akleh's funeral. Egypt, Qatar and Al Jazeera condemned the police's conduct. Deputy Union spokesperson Farhan Haq said the scenes were very shocking, and the EU said it was appalled. Thousands gather in mourning. A few minutes after police intervened, Abu Akleh's coffin was placed in a vehicle that headed toward the Cathedral of the Annunciation of the Virgin in Jerusalem's walled Old City. Crowds of Palestinians lined the narrow alleyways of the Old City as the coffin was carried to the Mount Zion cemetery nearby. Her grave was covered in wreaths and the Palestinian flag draped over the grave cross as mourners surrounded it solemnly, paying tribute to Abu Akleh. Investigation into journalist's death continues. The Israeli military said on Friday that its initial investigation concluded it was not possible to unequivocally determine the source of the gunfire which hit and killed Ms Abu Akleh. She may have been killed by shots fired by Palestinian militants shooting at Israeli military vehicles or been hit inadvertently by an Israeli soldier returning fire, it said. The Palestinian Attorney General's office issued a statement on Friday in which it said initial investigations had found that the sole source of gunfire in the area where Ms Abu Akleh was hurt was Israeli. Journalist's colleagues say they were targeted by snipers. A spokesman for Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, Nabil Abu Rudeineh, said events in Jerusalem and Jenin could push the sides into serious escalation. Abu Akleh's death has drawn widespread condemnation. Video footage from the moments after she was shot showed Abu Akleh, 51, wearing a blue vest marked press. At least 2 of her colleagues who were with her said they had come under Israeli sniper fire and that they were not close to militants. Israel, which has voiced regret at Abu Akleh's death, has proposed a joint investigation with the Palestinians, asking them to provide the bullet for examination. The Palestinians have rejected the Israeli request and have called for an international investigation. Space to play or pause, M to mute, left and right arrows to seek, up and down arrows for volume. Reuters. AP posted yesterday at 5:22 p.m., updated 19 hours ago.